Right now on KGW News, surviving the extreme heat.
People are really hot when they're coming in, they're leaking sweat.
The emergency shelters and free ACs helping folks stay safe during this weather impact alert. Then the grim discoveries, more than one, that have homicide investigators searching the Tualatin. Plus, it may be an eyesore on the outside, but
it's like gold on the inside.
The effort to give this run down, we're talking broken glass and walls of graffiti, though historic building, some new life. And later, meet the local teenager working to get rid of waste.
It's actually insane, and it's getting worse.
How she's creating clothes in her family's kitchen that are truly biodegradable. Good evening, everyone. David Molka with you on this Monday, where we are under a weather impact alert following a day that in a lot of spots flirted with the triple digits. And after 2 summer scorchers, it's also going to be a steamy night with temperatures still sitting in the 80s. Let's go right to live team coverage. Catherine Cook checking in on efforts to help people stay cool. But first to Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino, tracking when we might finally see some relief. Take it away, Matt.
Yeah, David, that won't be tomorrow. We're going to have to wait a little bit longer than that. As you mentioned, we're under a weather impact alert for the high heat risk that we've been dealing with for 2 days. We get it for one more day, which is 1 day longer than we've had all summer. We haven't had a 3-day stretch in the 90s yet. We will do that tomorrow. So the weather impact alert goes till 10 o'clock tomorrow night. It's a little bit less than 24 hours. Another hot day, and this is a very warm night, as you mentioned. Temperature in Portland right now still in the mid 80s. That's our average high for the date at 84 degrees with a clear sky. It's 81 in Beaverton. The center's dropped into the 70s, 79 out in the Coast Range, but Forest Grove's 85, Sherwood's 85, Troutdale's 82. It's just very, very warm, to say the least, throughout the entire region, except at the Oregon coast, which is seeing some nice cooling. We'll get to that in a bit. We're running a couple degrees warmer than the same time last night. Other places, exactly the same. Some McMinnville has gotten cooler tonight, a little bit of a burst of wind coming in from the west, but nonetheless, most places are about the same as they were at this time last night. So the extreme heat warning continues until 10 o'clock tomorrow night. We also now have a dense fog advisory out along the Oregon coast, which is a good sign that things may be about to, well, they are going to change. It's going to take a little while for us to get there. So we only cool into the upper 60s overnight tonight. Parts of the city may stay around 70. We only dropped to 68 downtown last night. We're looking at upper 90s again tomorrow for the 3rd day in a row. And to answer your first question, the cooling comes tomorrow night and Wednesday. And when it does come, it comes in a big way. Even have some rain in the forecast, David.
Hey, at least we can see the other side. Thanks, Matt. Meanwhile, Multnomah County is under a state of emergency and opened 3 cooling centers. There are also 70 other spaces like libraries and malls where folks can catch a break during the heat of the day.
Probably the tipping point for us this morning where there were a few factors we were really concerned with. Most notably, there's a little bit of humidity with this one, so you're seeing sort of this higher dew point. And so it's not just that when we see the temperature start to dip below this 100 degrees, it will still feel like it's 100 degrees for a few more hours after that.
Well, we will know by the morning if cooling centers will reopen on Tuesday. Speaking of staying safe, Catherine Cook went to check in on a local program that helps people keep their own homes cool. Catherine?
David, a lot of people who suffered through heat waves in the past now have an air conditioner. And that's thanks to programs aimed at bringing comfort and, frankly, saving lives when extreme temperatures hit. Outside the Northwest Tower Apartments, the 13-story checkerboard of windows offers a glimpse into how tenants are faring amid dangerous heat. A good number of the low-income units now have air conditioners to offer cooling relief.
Very thankful, very thankful.
A few months ago, Heather Duffield learned that anyone eligible who wants an AC can get one for free.
There's a sign up on the wall that said dial, I think 311. And I did, and it came within a week, and they installed it for me, and it was a piece of cake.
Heather's AC is one of more than 15,000 units provided through Cooling Portland. The program, made possible through the Portland Clean Energy Community Benefits Fund, was the city's response to the heat dome of 2021. That's when 72 people suffered heat-related deaths in Multnomah County. 94% of them died in their own homes, including one person who lived here. For Heather, getting an AC in the spring just made sense.
It wasn't that hot yet, but I knew it was coming because I have animals, and I worry about them being hot, and so So I just try and prepare myself for it.
Around the corner from Northwest Tower, another option for those seeking relief from near 100-degree heat. One of 3 county-run daytime cooling centers, this one at Congregation Beth Israel.
People are really hot when they're coming in, they're leaking sweat.
Amber Johnson is program manager with Do Good Multnomah. By early evening, she said 26 people had dropped in to cool off and hydrate. They also had access to medical and dental care through the county's mobile medical clinic.
We also have a couple mats in there for folks to lay down and get some rest, but people are hot and exhausted and drained, so they're really grateful to have this space.
And hopeful it will reopen on Tuesday as this heat wave continues. And back live on this very balmy night. If you need an air conditioner, the best way to find out if you qualify for a free one is to call 311. And David, worth noting, you can apply and have one installed in your home any time of year. You don't have to wait for a heat wave for this one. Back to you.
It's a good reminder. Good to see that program having a lot of success too. Appreciate the follow-up, Catherine. By the way, if you text the word heat to the number on your screen, it's 503-226-5088. We will text you back with a link to info on cooling centers, splash pads, and other local resources to help out over the next 24 hours. To breaking news in North Portland now, where police are investigating a homicide at a motel. Officers were called to do a welfare check at the Super Value Inn on North Interstate just before 8 this evening. That's when they say they found a man dead from a gunshot wound. Police say the suspects left before officers got there. We, of course, will update you when we learn more. Developing this evening, the search has been suspended for a missing fisherman, one of 4 people forced into the ocean after their boat capsized Sunday afternoon near Newport. Alma McCarty spoke with the Coast Guard and has the update. Alma?
Yeah, David, the 3 others on board were rescued, but after 8 hours of searching for this 4th person and 54 square miles covered, the Coast Guard called off the search around 10 this morning.
After a long evening and early morning on the ocean, slightly south of Newport, rescuers called off the mission to find the final crew member of a sunken fishing vessel.
Very tough decision for the Coast Guard to make to suspend. It's never an easy thing for us. It's, it weighs heavily upon, especially the members that are there.
Petty Officer Steve Strohmeyer with the U.S. Coast Guard explains where the 40-foot vessel Das Bug took on water and sank.
This did not happen right in between the jetties or what we call the bar. That's one of the more dangerous areas when that, tide and the ocean and the river are all meeting up at one time, and it can cause hazardous issues. But this was a little bit offshore, a little bit south of that area, but the ocean's just dangerous at any point.
Although the Coast Guard was able to rescue 3 fishermen within a half hour, a 4th person is still missing, unaccounted for after the boat capsized.
The bottom was facing up, and they didn't have life jackets on at the time. So obviously one of the biggest things is that they wanted to get to something that was going to keep them safe. So they were able to swim over to the hull.
Crews got the 3 fishermen to the hospital where they were treated for hypothermia.
And this was just a tragic incident on a beautiful summer day. So, send our deepest condolences to the family and the friends of this individual that's missing.
And so far, the name of that missing fisherman has not been released. David, back to you.
Thanks, Alma. Appreciate your reporting on that. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, law enforcement in Los Angeles say they have found the black BMW allegedly driven by the suspect in a double stabbing in Longview. Alexander Rogers is wanted in connection to the murder of Don Peters and attempted murder of Andrew Peters last Tuesday. Investigators say video evidence suggests Rogers is still in the LA area. Longview police are now headed to California. The Washington County Sheriff's Office has opened a homicide investigation after body parts turned up in the Tualatin River. Deputies responded to Rude Bridge Park in Hillsborough Friday afternoon, where they say a kayaker made the first discovery. Then on Saturday, searchers in the river say they found a second body part.
From the level of decomposition that we've seen on the body parts that we have found, it does seem like this is a more recent incident, but we haven't been able to determine how long it's been.
Investigators are not saying much more than that, though add there is no indication there's any ongoing threat to the public. And fire crews in Sweet Home rescued a dog from a house fire. The 14-year-old Pomeranian named Tucker was saved from the house this morning after a fire in the garage spread to the rest of the home. Everyone inside was able to get out safely. One firefighter was treated for a possible heat-related illness. No word yet on the cause.
We know that causes a chilling effect. People are asking, should I be going to work?
Well, that is the question on a lot of farm workers' minds following a new round of immigration arrests. And turns out it also happens to be the peak of blueberry harvest. Libby Dowsett talked with the Workers Union and the Farm Bureau amidst all the uncertainty.
It is the peak of blueberry season, and pickers are worried about showing up for work. The union says not just pickers, but community members are calling the office in a panic.
It was people in the Woodburn community that were driving by, witnessing workers getting picked up by ICE.
Union leaders say broken windows, these from the van carrying 4 arrested Guatemalan workers in Woodburn, now symbolize yet another round of arrests under the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigrants.
And really what we saw on Thursday was terrorizing farm workers in their own communities, in their own neighborhoods, who all they were trying to do was get to work.
Executive Director Reina Lopez from Oregon's Farm Bureau, Paccoon, says the arrests are creating a chilling effect at the most vulnerable time in the season.
And any kind of disruption at this time, at the peak of the harvest season, would be pretty devastating.
But the Oregon Farm Bureau says at this point, farmers are reporting they still have workers.
I don't believe it's impacted our workforce in a way that maybe it's been portrayed. We still have farmers that are turning away workers. They can't give them enough work.
Farm Bureau Communications Director Austin McClister says the Bureau's website includes tips for immigrant workers to make sure they know their rights. Union members are urging the public to also get educated about helping local farm workers.
We know it's going to be hurting our collective ability to not only feed ourselves, but feed the entire state of Oregon and feed our families.
Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
Well, we reached out to ICE for more information on the individuals arrested and have not yet heard back. The Innovation Law Lab, a nonprofit, says the detained blueberry pickers were living in Woodburn and are from Guatemala. Meanwhile, a Washington State employee who works with kids in juvenile detention has been detained by ICE along with her 6-year-old son. This is a bit of an interesting story. Sarah Shaw is from New Zealand. She recently crossed into BC and Canada to drop 2 of her kids off at Vancouver International Airport for a flight to visit their grandparents. But her attorney says when Shaw and her 6-year-old son tried to come back to the U.S., that's when they were detained. Her attorney said Shaw's in the process of applying for permanent residency here and holds what is known as a combo card. It's a temporary immigration document that provides both work authorization and what's called advanced parole. It allows for international travel. While the work authorization had been approved, turns out the advanced parole had not. Here's a family friend who spoke with Shaw.
You never think it's going to happen to you. I think the main thing she has expressed this whole time is just absolute shock and just devastation, because she really did feel like she had done everything that was required of her.
Shaw and her son are now being detained at an ICE facility in Texas.